What's up, guys? Ryan here. So I'm going to tell you about my first experience with Instacart. So yesterday was my first day. I only went out for like an hour just to check it out. I got an order right away. It was just one order, 27 items. So when you're new to Instacart, you wait for your card to be shipped to you. And if you don't have your card, you can use this Apple Pay card that they give you when you sign up through the app. So I was thinking, hey, I'm gonna use my Apple Pay. I'm gonna go to this order. It's 27 items. It's right here at this Publix where I live right next door to. This is perfect. So I end up, going in there, and I watched a couple Instacart videos on how to shop efficiently before I even, try to take on this task or new employment, if you will. But so I go in there and I work through the produce first, because you have to weigh out the produce and all, and then after that you can just go through aisle to aisle and you can get things done quicker. So it's in the midst of a coronavirus epidemic right now, so we got bugs flying around. We got a couple, of crazy things going on in the store. People are walking around you with masks on, and I have a mask on too, and people look at you if you get too close to them, and they freak out. And so anyway, I'm hustling, I'm getting things done. They don't have 2 or 3 items. So I messaged this lady and I'm like, would you like me to replace some of the items or refund them? And she was like, no, go ahead and just refund a couple of them, but I still want, for example, one was a big Cool Whip and a small Cool Whip, and they didn't have the big ones. So I said, hey, they don't have the big ones. I was like, would you like 2 of the small ones? She's like, nah, just one small one will do. I'm like, all right, well, you wanted a big one and then a small one originally. Now you just want one small one, whatever. I'm like, whatever works for you. So I get that, and I get to the checkout. Everything is fine, perfect, smooth. I drop it off. Right when I ring the doorbell, I start walking away, because that was her instructions: ring the doorbell and just leave the groceries on the welcome mat. So I did that, and as I'm walking to my car, I just hear this little freaking Shih Tzu comes running out of the house and starts running at me and looking at me ground, what is this motherfucker doing at my house with a mask on? So I'm just like, hey, how's it going? She's like, sorry about that. I'm like, no problem. So my first day was out for 1 or 2 hours and got one order. I was like, this is cool. This is a fun job. I was listening to some AC/DC on the way to deliver this thing. So I mean, it's a cool little side gig for right now with what's going on. So today though, oh my God, today was a fucking pain in the ass. So I had a batch order come through, and keep in mind I'm new, so you don't get orders right away. And when an order does pop up, it goes through all the other shoppers in the area as well. So you have to swipe and click on it really quickly to get the order. The first time today I drove out, I'm looking at my phone and an order pops up. I'm driving at this point. I'm like, fuck. As soon as it pops up, it disappears. So I'm thinking, wow, I really gotta, park somewhere in the Publix parking lot and just sit there and stare at my screen and wait for another order to pop up so I can scroll real quick and hit select. So that's exactly what I did, and I sat there for maybe 30 minutes until an order came up, and I was drinking a Bang energy drink on the way, to the parking lot. So I'm just sitting there staring at my phone with caffeine rage going like this, and finally something comes up. I swipe it really quick, and I'm like, yes, it's right here at this Publix, I noticed. And it's a batch order, so it's 2 people. You deliver it to 2 different addresses. And this is my first time doing this. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna go in with my cart, separate the items half and half in the cart, one for Bob, one for Heather. So Bob wanted a Prosecco, and they train you with, your alcohol license cards, your alcohol cards, yeah, that makes sense. Your driver's license and how to scan them to make sure the customer's of age. So I was thinking, okay, it's my first time doing that, so this is gonna be hard. It's the first time doing a batch order. This is gonna be difficult. But Bob only wanted 3 things, thank God, And Bob wanted some Prosecco, and then he wanted 2 big ass gallons of baby formula, and then razors, shaving razors. I was like, I'm not gonna judge, but that's a random ass order. Um, Heather was a lot easier. She just had regular groceries, like some limes, some milk, and fucking produce. I mean, just a bunch of random stuff. I'm not like as random as Bob's, but better stuff. Anyway, um, I'm getting everything taken care of. There's some items again that are out on the shelves. Like Heather wanted paper towels, and I knew for a fact that there wasn't going to be any paper towels. And I got to the aisle, there was none. I asked the guy that was in the aisle stocking, one of the sales associates. I'm like, you guys probably all out of paper towels, aren't you? And he's like, yeah, sorry about that. So I refund all the items I need to refund. But on the app, when you click refund item, it goes to Heather or Bob, and they have to accept the refund. I didn't know that. So I'm at checkout, and it says on Instacart there's a to-do list. That's where you see all the items, and you click on them, scan the barcode, and then it goes into a done list. So I had none of my to-do lists, almost all of them in my done list, but I saw one says pending transaction from a refund. And I look at it, and it's it's Bob's water. He wanted like a Zephyr Hills. They didn't have any Zephyr Hills waters, like a gallon of them. So I messaged him, and I was like, hey, you want a Publix one, a Public spring water instead of Zephyr Hills? And he's like, nah, I'll just refund the item. So I refunded it for him, but he hadn't accepted the refund yet. And I'm in the checkout, and there's people behind me waiting, and I'm like, fuck, I did not realize this. So I'm like, you want to take them first? So I got to go over to the side now, where in Publix, they had this little like seating area. So I went there, and I'm texting on the messaging app through Instacart to Bob, and I'm like, hey man, stuck here at checkout, you need to, I said it politely, I was like, could you please accept the refund for the water so I can be on my way to you as soon as I can? And he was like, sure. So I'm sitting there, and he still hasn't refunded it, or accepted the refund in about a minute, 2 minutes. So I'm getting antsy. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I'm already way past my time limit because I had to walk around the damn store for checking all kinds of crazy ass items out for Heather's order. So I finally have Bob accepted. I'm just sitting in the store like, finally I can get the hell out of here. And then on the app it says, the time that you're supposed to deliver it. It didn't even tell me a time anymore. It just said due ASAP, capital ASAP. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm hauling ass with my Bang energy drink, with alcohol in the car and some other groceries and shit. And I'm getting stopped at every single fucking light. I'm like, this would happen to me. This is exactly what happens when you first start off at a new job. Like, shit happens. So I ended up, Bob's instructions, right, were to knock lightly, the baby is sleeping. Like, okay, he's getting a bunch of baby formula shit, so I'm going to be nice and quiet. So I knock lightly, and I'm thinking, I have to verify the ID for the Prosecco that he got. Like, how am I going to do this? So next thing I know, this woman answers the door, and I'm just like, you're not Bob. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, I just need to, have an ID for the transaction. And she's looking at me because I think it said new customer on there too. So she didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know what was going on. So I was like, yeah, do you have an ID so I can scan it? And she goes, here you go. Gives me her ID. And I'm like, this isn't Bob's ID, but I guess I'll enter the info manually. So I enter it, and I'm standing there with a mask on. I'm trying not to be, too close to her. I didn't want to freak her out. And she's like, did it go through? And I'm still waiting for my phone to load to finally go through. I was like, yes, it did. All right. And I was like, thank you. I almost said thank you, Bob, for some odd reason. I was like, she's not Bob. Anyway, I get in my car and drive off. The next one was Heather's order, and I had to drop it off. Their instructions were leave it on the doorstep and ring the doorbell, and then, head out. So I rang the doorbell, put everything on the doorstep, and I kind of waited a second for this one to see if they came out. They would not come out of their house. But before you ring the doorbell, you take a picture of the groceries. So, I sent them a picture of it. Hopefully it's not sitting out there still right now. But yeah, just an annoying day for my second day. Oh, and then I had one more order that went smoothly. Some lady out in the farms out here in Jupiter. I'm in Jupiter, Florida. She was cool as hell. She actually knew one of my old employers, and we were talking for a little bit out there. And she was like, yeah, my kids needed some chocolate milk and all kinds of other stuff, and I'm making this and that. And I ended up texting her about broccoli was on buy one, get one. So I was like, do you want both of them? And she finally texted me, like, as I was at her house, was like, oh, I just saw this. I was like, it's all right, I'm already at your fucking house. But nah, she was cool. But she, like, made up for the crazy transactions and hassle that I had to go through with the first, two batch order. My first batch order was not fun. So yeah, hopefully the more that I start doing this, I'll be better off. Everything will come easier, and I won't have to deal with crazy shit as much. Actually, you know what? I'm probably still gonna deal with some crazy stuff, but at least I'll be used to it. So, all right, thanks, guys.